savings plan formula, we call this. This is like our investment formula. And this looks like a big one, and a lot of parts to it. It's not too bad though. As long as we use this one, PMT is our monthly payment. APR, of course, is our interest rate. Notice that's located in two different spots. N is the number of payments for what we're going to do today in this video. All of them are going to be 12. Just because we deal with monthly payments. Y is the number of years that you're going to be investing with this. And typically when we're talking about stock market, we don't want to invest in anything shorter than about 3, 4, 5 years minimum. Typically, if it's anything less than that, we'll just keep it in a savings account or something. So just because of the volatility of the stock market. But other than that, all right, so most everything that we deal with is going to be longer than 5 years. You might have 1 or 2 that are in 4 years. But all right, so let's kind of bring in a real life scenario. Let's actually plug this into the formula and see what we get here. All right, so here's our formula still. And this is if we're going to save $100 a month for 20 years. The return is 11%, and of course it's based off of what the stock market return is. The S&P 500 is averaging 11%. How much money would we have at the end of 20 years? And this is if we invested $100 every single month for 20 years. All right, so now what we're going to do is start plugging in stuff that we know. And the first one that we go through here is the monthly payment amount. We know that's $100. So instead of writing PMT, I'm going to substitute in 100. There's our $100. Okay, next up we have balance at the end. Well, we don't know that. That's what we're trying to solve for. So we're not too worried about that. At this point, we're going to find that out a little bit later. Let's see, $100 a month, 20 years. So Y, we know our Y. So we're going to substitute Y, 20 for Y here. So we do that now. Next up, we have the interest rate, the annual percentage rate. And this one, it's 11%. And when we write this in, we're going to convert it to a decimal. So 11% would be 0.11 as a decimal. And notice that that's located in two different spots here. So we're going to have to write it in here and here as well. So we'll do that now. 0.11 is my 11%. The final one that we have is N, the number of payments per year. And again, everything that we're going to do pretty much is going to all deal with monthly payments. That's 12 months in a year. So 12, 12, and 12. So there should be 3 12s here. I want you to focus on this one just for a second. On this one, this is N times 20. So when we substitute 12 in, it's going to be 12 times 20. This isn't going to be 1,220. It's just going to be 12 times 20. So we want to make sure that when we write that one in to our calculator that it does that. Now what we're going to do is enter this one into our calculator. All right, well, let's bring in our calculator. I'm going to do this one on a TI Nspire. If you're doing a TI-84, you really have to pay attention to parentheses. And essentially we want a 100 times, and we're going to do one big parenthesis around this whole thing, and then a big parenthesis around the top one as well. So that one's more complex, which is why we like the TI Nspire. So I'm just going to type this one into the TI Nspire here. We've got 100 times, and the nice thing about the TI Nspire is it's going to look just like this. So I've got a fraction here, and again, the fraction is control division sign will give me my fraction. All right, now up top here I have a parenthesis, so I'm going to go 1 plus, and I've got another fraction. All right, and this one's going to be 0.11, 0.11 divided by 12. All right, and this is all going to be raised to, and this is when we raise it to a power, we use this one that kind of looks like a roof here. Looks like the roof of a house. So, and that's going to be 12 times 20. And then on the bottom, I have yet another fraction here. Oops, I forgot my minus 1. I don't know why, but I always do that. So let me add that in now. So just check to make sure you've got the minus 1 on yours. And then on the bottom here, I have a fraction. So again, I go control division sign is my shortcut to my fraction. Whoops. So I go 0.11, and that's going to be divided by 12. When I have that all entered in, all I'm going to do is hit enter. And that's going to give me my answer here. I should have $86,563.80.38. And this one asked me to round it to the nearest cent, so I'm just going to write 0.80. Okay, so let's bring this one back in. Let's take it to full screen here. There you go, 86,563.80. Again, if you're going to use the TI-83 or 84, that's fine. You can do that. Just write 100 times. We're going to do a big parenthesis around this whole thing. Then I'm going to do this parenthesis, of course, but I'm going to do another one right here across this big thing, divided by, and I'm going to do a parenthesis around this one. I mean, you've got a lot of parentheses there that you've really got to pay attention to.